Alright, this movie was fucking weird. So... I don't know how to start. In concept, I guess it was cool. Like, I thought the trailer looked pretty neat.
It's like Zootopia, except instead of animals, they're fantasy creatures.
Yeah.
I've never seen Zootopia, and I really don't.
Zootopia is really,
Zootopia
really
is amazing.
good. I've seen it like 5 times.
Zootopia is
I
really,
love it.
really subtle with the whole like race
Classes.
parallels and classes. Yeah, it's subtle and it does it really well. And it's it's a kids movie but it's incredibly smart. This movie,
It's basically baby's first corruption. Okay, that's what it is.
but this one was just so heavy-handed.
This one's not a kid's movie, and it's not smart.
This one's a fairy killer. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, like it does a lot of like trying to set up its world, but it does like the wrong things with it. Like there's these elf villains that like they're kind of like Matrix people, and like I would have I would have liked to know more about them, but instead.
We know
they could have told me something about them like at the beginning of the movie, but instead we have like 10 minutes of Will Smith chasing down a fairy with a broom and saying fairy lives don't matter.
Yeah.
I think we all agreed that this would have been better as a TV series rather than them trying to stuff all this background
They've
information
got this cool ass elf cult, and they just spend like 5 seconds exploring it every time.
Yeah.
They
But
didn't,
they
give us
kick
a
ass.
they didn't give us a background on the
And-
elf killers, you know.
and they kill a
they
baby
throw
for some
so
reason.
many good ideas out there, but don't expand on any of them.
They didn't explain
The
what the
most
writing on
thing
the
that
wall
really
was.
pissed me off was the part that they had already explained what the wand is when that guy was in interrogation, how you can't touch the wand. And when Will Smith's about to grab the wand, I was like, okay, he's just gonna do it. They're not gonna do this. They're not gonna do this. But they sat there and they explained it. And like, okay, so if she wants Will Smith to die, why would she like go say, wait, don't touch it or you'll die? Isn't that what she would want? The elf lady, like, and it just really annoyed me how they stretched that thing out when it could have been the biggest fucking plot twist. It was supposed to be the biggest plot twist of the movie.
It was so cliche.
And yeah,
It got given
they
away
ruined
too
it, and
early.
that pissed
I feel
me
like
off.
it got given away too early.
Yeah, especially with the homeless guy going, your partner's blessed. It's like,
Yeah.
the foreshadowing is just so on the nose.
When
that
you
it
said
doesn't
it's
feel
1
like
in a million
surprise.
of a human being a bright, I had a feeling it's gonna be Will Smith. Like I
For-
was like, fuck.
Foreshadowing is needed. You can't just have shit come out of nowhere, but
The execution.
like have some subtlety with it. Like
They
don't
spent-
just advertise it in like the first 5 seconds of the movie.
They spent more time trying to focus on sentimental friendship building than actual.
They tried to make it a
And
buddy
And it
cop
doesn't
movie.
it doesn't ever feel like they actually make it that far.
Inherently, like if this exact same movie had been just like a buddy cop movie and replaced the magic wand with like I don't know a nuclear weapon or something, yeah, I don't think it would have been that bad of a movie. It would have been kind of generic,
Yeah.
but it would have been fine. But like it, combining this whole fantasy concept with it, it was a good idea, but it just feels really wasted. And that does detract from the movie because it is distracting.
Has Will Smith ever been in a bad movie?
Quite
Until
a
Yeah,
fucking
quite a
few.
few.
Really? Because
Yeah.
all the movies I've seen of him, he's always
He's
just
been in a lot of
been
good
really
movies.
Oh,
great.
Will Smith
So-
is not a bad actor.
It's
not
more
even
recently.
It's the movies that put him in.
More recently, he's been in a lot of shitty movies.
Wasn't After Earth terrible? I haven't seen it.
Pretty
It
much.
After Earth was actually
it
pretty
looked
okay
like
to
it
me.
was
Okay.
pretty
I didn't like After
Him and Jaden
Earth.
worked pretty well. It was like Jaden starting, but it was one of those alright,
Okay.
cool.
After Earth's
Okay.
one of those movies where if you can accept the concept and you can accept the visual style and everything, it's pretty fine. But like story wise, there's not much going on.
Yeah.
Okay. But I mean, has Will Smith been
And
in
plus,
a bad
it's
movie?
more of a Jaden Smith movie than a Will Smith.
So, yeah,
Suicide
again, like
Squad.
I said,
Oh, wow.
it's more like a Jaden Smith debut.
Yeah.
Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad, he saved that movie. I don't care what anybody says. Will Smith saved that movie.
It seemed
No, nothing could have saved that movie.
He saved that movie
I
in terms
despise
of
that
he made it
movie.
watchable. It was bearable. Because I still don't know what the hell happened in that movie.
I
so
don't
much shit
either.
happened.
I was-
don't
I was-
either.
It was just
I'm
like,
that,
oh, you have
I'm that nerd who
Enchantress.
was like, oh, Enchantress is a villain? Fuck yes. And then Cara Devlin's playing her? That's awesome. And then I saw the movie and I was like, what?
It was just like, oh, how does she activate the Enchantress? It just like reaches over her
How
hand,
does this
flips
movie
over.
compare to Suicide Squad to you guys? Because this is directed by the same person.
Oh,
I would
wow,
prefer
really?
Suicide Squad over this movie.
Yeah,
Yes.
I
Suicide Squad has a more direct line of me paying attention and knowing what's
Yeah.
going on versus this had too many layers of we got humans, we got orcs, we got
I will
elves,
say that this
we got elves that are brights, we got human brights, we got it's too many layers. It's
this
too many layers.
film
yeah.
did a lot of like over explaining certain things and under explaining everything else.
Also the setup, like you said, the setup of execution, the scenes. God.
Suicide Squad's issues are very different than this movie's issues. Suicide Squad's issues are more pandering. This one is that it had a great idea executed poorly in a cliched and overcomplicated manner.
This movie had no idea what it was doing.
It wanted to be a let's fight racism movie, as well as let me explain to you what's going on in our world movie,
Yeah, like
as well as classism is bad.
20
Fuck capitalism.
minutes into the movie, it
Again,
forgets that it wants
Zootopia
to be like
nails
racist.
this.
It's just like,
Yeah.
hey, it was just crashing down, snowballing.
Again, you can do that with a movie, but
you
like,
just have to do it right. It's
you gotta Zootopia it. You can't bright it.
You can't write it.
And then
We're gonna make that a term.
Will Smith's character is just not very likable. They were trying to
No,
show
he
he's like he's a good man at heart, even though he's kind of bigoted.
Yeah, I couldn't
And
tell
again,
a
you
thing
can do
about
that in a
him.
movie, but they did it wrong. They just
Yeah, they
made him kind of
definitely
a
did it
dick
wrong.
for no reason. It didn't feel earned. And then it's like, what the fuck was him and his wife don't really like each other, but like they just
She didn't like him being a cop for dying over the accident, and she didn't want it to happen again.
that's
And
true.
I think he was worrying about like he was worrying about the debt that wasn't explained in the beginning, not until like the middle towards the end of the movie. It was like, oh, he's in debt. This is why he's still doing this.
And then his daughter's important to him, but she's in one scene.
Yeah.
They just
Yeah.
kind of like every once in a while they're like,
That was the emotional support.
do it for Sophie, and
But-
it's like,
that
oh
was
yeah.
that was the emotional heartstring tug they were pandering to. That's what that was.
Oh, and
Why
then
do they do this and think they can get away with it? I don't
I like the
understand.
internal affairs elf.
Like,
Like you said, he looks like a Final Fantasy character.
Yeah,
He
okay.
he totally does.
He wasn't the villain of the movie, but when
Which was
when he
weird.
first comes out, I thought he was gonna be the villain.
I was waiting for him to pull out
He was
Muramasa. To be
an
honest,
elf with like long hair, long blue hair, and he was wearing
I thought
like
it was gray.
steampunk clothes, and he had like gray blue contacts in. He looked like a Final Fantasy villain.
He honestly looked like
I
he
really
belonged in
think
CGI.
He was so out of place.
I thought he was CGI.
I
Like,
really
did they
do
just
think
adjusted his
was
face?
It's got
I
some
hope they do a
uncanny valley
sequel.
going
I
on.
really hope they do.
I kind of liked how the elves looked.
I would
Because-
give this
I like their
world
teeth,
a
to be
second
honest.
chance.
I like their eyes.
honestly, because I do think this world
Should
has
make a
potential.
remastered version.
But I don't think David
Probably
Ayer
shouldn't
should
do
be
that.
attached to it. I really
Let's just-
like,
Rewrite the script.
I
Cast
Yeah,
he
not
should-
Will
He
Smith.
should really stick to more grounded movies. Like I've seen a couple of his earlier movies. I liked End of Watch. I mean, but that's grounded. You know,
I want to see.
it's
I wanna,
about real people.
I want to see like a good showrunner take this idea and turn it into a Netflix series, and then you can have like Jacoby or Ward if you really need to make like cameo
We still don't
appearances.
know why Tika was
So,
so
like,
fucked
Agents
up
of S.H.I.E.L.D.,
mentally.
just
Like we
low-key.
don't know what happened to her. That's
She
that's
just
one thing that really
she
bothers
just
me.
appeared. She
She's
was
she's
she was
whatever.
there.
Yeah.
She
I
was
don't
she was
care.
roaming around. They summoned an assassin with the wand that was given to her
'Cause,
to
like-
be killed. She killed the other lady, made into a working piece of art. The
wouldn't
the
be-
owner of the wand interacted with her and she died. And
It would be cool, like if they did a series. I feel like maybe drop the whole cop thing.
yes,
Don't make them cops. Make
Yeah,
them like
they
ordinary
don't need
people.
to be cops. It
I
just
would-
can be about anything. Even
You know what I
it
like?
was
Cool
it
as
straight
hell.
up was Zootopia because even Zootopia was about cops.
Yeah,
Fuck, dude.
This is deep.
I want to. You know what I want to see? I want to see this world in a Netflix series, and it just details the lives of normal people and their like normal drama and shit.
I just don't want them to mess it up because when movies go to TV shows, it just
Well,
For
you
some
can't
reason, some of
fuck
them go
this
down.
up.
Can't fuck. It's not possible.
some go down.
They can only add more. Like we
This
we
is
need
already
information.
fucked. You might as well try to
I think
unfuck
yeah,
it.
I think a show set in this world that really has nothing to do with the movie would be fine.
If you really, I feel like a fun nod to the movie, you could throw that in too. Like just like
You could show the
have, like,
inauguration of them
like-
at the end, like, to be honest.
Yeah.
have like some kind of like legal issue going on, and then they call the cops, and Jacoby shows up. Like that would be cool.
There was nobody in the production room that said, "Hey, maybe this is a little too obvious." Like, you know the age group that you're targeting. You should know they have
Yeah.
common sense enough to piece two things together instead of
like-
you spending more time.
Again,
This
Zootopia
is-
was smarter.
This is
It's a
an
kids' movie,
R-rated
it was fun.
movie. Like
There was, like, so
this
much
movie
It's
is
like
unnecessary
children.
cursing.
They thought children watching it. Like, they had to quickly explain something. It really took away from a part that was supposed to be big in
Yeah.
the movie.
I
you
feel like
know?
they
bit
underestimated
jarring.
people's reading comprehension and listening skills.
It
It's a
talks
bit
to you
jarring
like
when-
you're stupid.
Yeah.
It's a bit jarring when you've got people explaining things to you like you're a kid, but using the word "fuck" every other word.
Yeah, that
And
that
then,
was
like-
annoying, like a high key.
And then it's like, remember this plot point, and oh, guess what might happen, and totally won't. Wink, wink. And then the next scene's got like some girl's boobs out in a strip club, and orcs doing cocaine. Like it's, I kind of like that actually.
Right. No,
Um,
I had watched this movie.
Oh my
The
God.
stitching
It
of the
was
scenes
weird.
together was just absolutely weird.
What was the scene that you were confused about,
Drugs.
Summer?
What?
The scene that you were confused. Oh, when they're walking through the club because we didn't know.
Yeah,
why
what was
they
the whole
did that.
purpose of them going through the little mosh pit in the joint?
Yeah.
I think that was supposed to set up for the
They
whole
lit-
Big
they-
Boss kidnapped
I
them and
wanna
says,
see
"Hey,
that
you
movie
fucked up
by
our
its director.
tradition."
I'm
There's
not
a
gonna
point
lie.
where they go to a club and they like take part in a mosh pit, and but like they don't do anything when they're there. That nothing gets accomplished, and I really don't know why they went there in the first place. So
They
like,
made it a bad setup
think
for
they
like
were
the
ju-
like the
honestly-
last scene.
Honestly, do you know what I think was happening?
what?
I think they were just walking through it.
Okay,
Yeah,
Like they couldn't walk around it for some reason. They had to
What?
go through the club.
we can't go around this building. Let's just go in the front door and
Will
out the
Smith
back.
spent-
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I noticed it was weird that they went in through one entrance, walked through the entire club, got into a small skirmish that didn't really amount to anything, and then left. I was like, they
it was just like
went
let's
through it.
let's create controversy for
And what
like
was with the
two
strip
scenes
club?
away.
What was with the strip club?
Just
They just wanted to show the urban setting that they were in, most likely.
And
No,
then-
they were like, we've already got this rated R. Might as well
They
just
wanted
show
to
it.
establish more that elves were gay, and that's it.
Snort sound,
At the very
you know?
end of this movie,
I do not.
Nick the orc, he takes you through the entire plot of the movie again.
And
Just,
then
he's kind of like fanboying over it, and then Will Smith pipes in and he's like, "No, that's not how it happened.
Here's my
This
perspective."
this is the entire plot again, but slightly different from
That's
my
right.
perspective."
and it's not even that much different. It's honestly him just rewording like,
it's him keeping himself out of trouble.
yeah, it was.
That's what it was.
It's like here's the whole thing without me gushing over. me
Here's
dropping
the
four
legal
cops.
part of
I
what
really feel
happened,
like
so I
Chris
don't get in
Noth knows
trouble.
They had enough time to explain what they needed, but they wasted that on really.
They wasted on his
stupid-ass
rambling,
points.
trying to make him relatable, and it was like
Like Baron
that's like the only
plays
thing
an
that
asshole.
irritated me about him in this movie, which is like
Didn't you guys think
Why
that
did
any
you
of the
go on?
movies when they came out of the fire and they're like laying on their backs and is panning up, so you're like, okay, that's the end of the movie.
Yeah, like that's the
but
end.
no, they
But then it
spend-
goes on for another good 10 minutes with them just recounting the movie again.
so. Hey, if
But
you were
wait,
sleeping
there's
because
more.
we
They
know
had
this
to-
movie's bad.
They had to show Tika.
I'm more annoyed that they pointed out the racial problems within this movie rather than how fucking trash it was developed.
There
I
couldn't
don't-
even be racial problems. There was too many damn layers. You had people that spoke Spanish. You had orcs. You had orcs that spoke Spanish. You had elves. You had elves that were bright. You had
The
humans
black
that were
shit-
bright.
oh, this
There
reminds
was like
me
so
of
much
racism.
shit
Let
going
me
on.
point this out.
You had
You had
the
elves that
above
killed
ground,
babies.
A
You had
regular
elves that
city.
didn't kill babies.
The
You got
race,
baby murderers.
the whole
Fucking
race
shit
thing was
crazy.
just one thing in an ocean of different
It was.
issues.
It tried to pander, not even pander. It tried to like make itself relatable
Your
to too
issue
many
here is
groups,
the magic
and
community.
it fucked itself up in the process.
Yeah, that's all. That's pretty much all I've got to say about this movie. If y'all are done talking about it,
We are.
okay.
This movie's a 1 out of 5.
1 out of 5.
You should watch this movie if you like feeling confused and not sure if you like
What,
it.
no,
It's
shit, what was
hard.
the phrase?
You
What was the
like
phrase they
bad
said?
movies.
What was the phrase they said in
I
this
started
movie?
getting so upset. I
If you
cried
don't have anything
twice.
better to
Cried
do, watch
twice
this
during this
movie
movie.
and then rip it a new asshole.
Honestly, I can only recommend this movie if you're curious.
I should have been
because-
high.
The movie you and I watched last night, I thought I was gonna like much less than this movie, and it's the
Yeah.
opposite.
Daddy's Home.
Not Daddy's Home.
No, not Daddy's.
Father Figures.
Father Figures is a better movie than Bright.
We can say that.
Fuck
I'm
Yeah.
starting to
But
think
what about
you
Daddy's
guys
Home?
are
I don't know. I never see
fucking
Daddy's Home.
spoofing us with these fucking
Yeah,
movies.
that
Like,
movie
it's
looks
2 in a
trash.
row. I don't know. You take this.
Father Figures
Well.
had really misleading trailers.
Look, I let you pick which movie we watched tonight, and you said let's
I was
watch
like, okay,
Bright.
it's controversial. We can bring up racial issues, but we spent the entire time complaining about.
It wasn't
fucking
controversial
development.
because of racial issues. It was controversial because the movie wasn't
Yeah,
great.
Everyone said that's what it was, and that's what's terrible.
Because that was what relayed, but the entire movie is just like,
yeah,
you can pick up this underlying tone, but here's exactly the complete opposite of what we're going to show you.
Yeah.
It didn't work. It didn't make sense. It showed
It's
it
like-
showed its ass, but that's it.
It's like, you see how they treat these orcs? We shouldn't treat people differently because they're a whole race of... Also, all elves are evil. Except for 2 of them. And one of them's shady and the other one's got...
Yeah, we can.
One of them's a crazy lesbian. So,
ancestral lesbian.
She was.
an ancestral... Well, I don't think she was enjoying it. She
Yeah,
did...
she was crying.
Yeah, she was not
It's
enjoying
filming,
it.
like, so, yeah. She
It was a very
crying.
one-sided incestuous...
It's a very weird
lesbian
scene. Like, and then she
scene.
said sister, and I was like, oh, this just got
It
worse.
was hot tub time machine. all
Because
over
we
again.
knew it wasn't consensual, you know.
That movie's great.
That's a thing they do for a lot of villains. They're like, look, they're incestuous.
Let's
Doesn't
make
that
them
just
even
make
gayer.
you think they're even more evil? Huh?
Yeah.
I'm
I need that
no,
to
it just
stop
makes
being a
me feel
thing.
little
I need that to stop being a thing. Stop making all the evil people gay.
All right.